Hello, everybody, and welcome to TSTV Game Day. I'm Reed Hauser. This is Thomas Bingham, and today we're going to talk to you a little bit about college lacrosse. So this weekend on Saturday, we're going out to cover our first live event, Texas Lacrosse at Clark Field at 4 p.m. Now, I know most of you guys watching right now are like us. We don't know too much about lacrosse. So right now, we'd like to tell you a little bit about the general rules and general facets of the game. So, we have offense and defense and some midfield. How is that set up? Like, what are the players like,
So the first thing about Lacrosse 101 is how many players are on each team. You got 3 attackers, 3 midfielders, 3 defenders, and a goalie. So 10 total players on each team.
Right. So what about face-offs? How do we get the game started? What happens there?
So a face-off is kind of like a tip-off in basketball. 2 players are about to take control of the game, trying to get the first possession of the game.
First, let's go over cross-checking and checking. So for cross-checking, that's when you're going to go up and you're going to cross-check another player on the stick. Now, you can hit anywhere on the stick, or you can hit them on the hands, because the hands are part of the stick. But when you're cross-checking, if you go up and your hands are separated when you cross-check, that's a penalty. Your hands have to be together when you're cross-checking. Now, same comes with checking. Checking, you can go up and you can shove a player from the front or from the side, and you can shove them however you want. You can't, however, shove them from behind. That's a penalty too. And also, if your hands are separated, it's a penalty. You got to be together. Now, there's different levels of penalties, kind of like a flagrant foul or a technical foul in basketball. It depends on the severity of the foul. If there's intent or if there's a serious injury or something, the ref can determine if it's a size or like level 1, level 2, or level 3 penalty, and then that determines the time of the penalty and if a player is put into the penalty box, kind of like hockey, and so that's cross-checking and checking.
Like with any other sport, you have balls going out of bounds, players going out of bounds. In lacrosse, if a ball goes out of bounds, it's thrown out of bounds, a player goes out of bounds with the ball, or the ball is deflected off some piece of equipment or the players, then that's considered out of bounds. They lose possession. Other team gets the possession. The one unique thing about lacrosse is that they do not have to inbound, in a sense, like in basketball. A player who is taking the possession for their team can just run it in, and it just makes it a lot quicker. Okay, so there's multiple offsides. The first one is, of course, on the face-off. You start out with 4 players on the defensive side, 3 on the offensive side. If there's more players on that side than need be, then that's considered an offsides penalty. Well, then on the face-off, the beginning part of the game, if a player does not wait till the ref says downset whistle, that's also considered offside.
Like
Same accusations apply for these as well.
So it's like a false start in football.
Exactly.
Right. If you have 4 players on the defensive side, like you're supposed to, and 1 defensive player leaves, that's a penalty, of course. But if you have a midfielder that comes back to the defensive side and then a defender leaves, as long as you still have 4 players on the defensive side, it's not a penalty. You're in the clear. Now, the same is for the offensive side. If an offensive player leaves their side of the field and comes to the defensive side, it's a penalty. But if a midfielder crosses over to the attack on the offensive side of the field and an attacker comes back to the defensive side and there's 3 players on that offensive side, it's not a penalty. As long as you have the right number of players on the right side of the field, then you're okay.
Penalty for that is you lose a member on your team for so many minutes, as you brought up earlier.
Right.
And so it's considered man up, extra man, or a man down, depending on which team you are.
So I think we've covered pretty much all the general stuff that we've got for you. Thanks for tuning in right now. Now you know a little bit about the general basics of lacrosse, and be sure to tune in Saturday, 4 p.m. TSTV Game Day is going down to Clark Field to cover Texas Lacrosse versus Chapman. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you on Saturday.